In the valley of Elah, in the country of Israel, lives a Danish glass artist and her family, on Moshav Aviezer. She trained with Dale Chihuly, teaches at the university, and displays her art in galleries throughout the country. It was my pleasure to visit with her and trade my energetic healing necklaces for her unique artwork. Life is very different there than in America. She kindly shared a bit of her home and life with me and my son Evan, and she will remain my friend always. Meet the talented Lisbeth Bigar.
This is my studio. It's all built from mud. Some from straw bale, some from empty jerry cans with mud or adobe between them. And this is a mixture of straw and mud. So it's relatively cool here in the summer. The Vikings believed that Odin had two crows sitting on two shoulders. One is called knowledge and one is called mindfulness. And he basically sent those crows every morning to go through the world and be his eyes. Look for him and come back and whisper in his ears what they had seen on the way. So they were part of the inspiration. You need to put on your crow mask to go into the world. And they all of them sitting on the net, which is also kind of a butt to the freedom of the bird. It's like, are they actually free, or are they're birds, they can fly, but maybe they're in a net, maybe they're in some kind of cage. So it has the duality. And of course I also have it is an old chicken house, so I have the netting behind, around my studio, so that was part of the inspiration. These are a series of pieces that are made of porcelain and glass, which are two materials that you cannot combine without getting cracks. So I love the cracks. I love the way the light is returned. Several of the pieces from this series are talking about eyes and they talk about seeing, both because of the return of the light and also because of the coloring that I used. So they have a lot of circles. They have some of them even have eyes painted in them, but they're basically talking about seeing. It's not me to use pink, and sometimes I do it because I was never one of these girls who wore pink, and sometimes I just love it. The feeling that pink is really feminine, and it's really a color that girls can use. It's one of the few colors that you don't expect men to be. I mean, this is called Autumn, and you actually chose it for your granddaughter.
Yes, whose name is Autumn.
Whose name is Autumn, which is amazing.
It's amazing.
This is really, really, really amazing. And it's also animals that are usually not living together in peace, but here I decided that they'll have to manage to be together somehow. So this is a series of pieces I did which are all about paper. I have one more on the wall, which is basically like when you fold an aeroplane. And I thought so much about putting some writing on them, and every time I got to the writing I got stuck with which language do I actually write in? Do I write in Danish? Then it doesn't matter because no one would anyway understand what I write. Do I write in Hebrew? My letters look a little childish. Would I want that? Do I write in English? No, it seems too commercial. So at the end of things I just said, it'll just have to be empty. I have some of them that I drew a little bit on, but almost all of them are just a piece of paper without anything on it. And they're basically talking also about the beauty in some objects that we've seen so much. I mean, all of us have held thousands, if not tens of thousands of pieces of paper in our hands. And we just have forgotten how beautiful a piece of white paper is. These ones are basically they're boats. And I just love the way the glass is coming through the holes and the light is coming through. I like the way that they're kind of stretching between points. But it's nice. It's nice when things are moving on.
Yeah.
This is something that I'm putting together right now. It's for an exhibition about connection to your past. And when I was a kid, I used to have all these boxes full of stuff. Parts will be black, and the glass pots will be white or transparent. And because also the past, if we think about the past, there's very often something black and white about it. So this is a plaster mold made out of a plastic bag with tape on it, with ordinary masking tape, and it's made from all kind of different kind of beer bottles that I ground up. So like the white one is actually Coca-Cola, and Heineken and Taibe, the reddish ones are Taibe beer.
So original.
It's also basically a work in progress. It's something that I don't really know where it's gonna go, but at some point it will just turn into something.
Wow. It's so enormous, this store.
Actually, we saw it on a very, very rainy day. It kind of was almost dark, and we just took one look, and my husband said, "I want this," and I said, "We'll never be able to afford it." And then followed a long time of negotiations about the price, but eventually it came. We met somewhere. It took basically almost half a year. It had been for sale for several years though, which was for sure our luck. This is also a mixture of straw and mud, and these ones are old chicken feeders with just netting chicken wire. This is a wall where we've been doing different kind of color tests. Basically, we have one more studio space, which is... It's also mud, but here I found some very, very, very light mud, and I mixed it up with water, and I simply painted them white afterwards.
So you yourself built the walls by hand?
Yeah. And they were just painted. I felt that the room was getting too dark, so therefore it was painted white. Or it's not white; it's kind of blonde.
Well, what is this ceiling?
This was next to some factory. My husband found all these wonderful pieces of. It's two pieces of metal with styrofoam between them, and he called one of his friends and said, "Could you bring a truck, your pickup truck over? I found this great ceiling," and it just fitted. It was amazing. It was just enough pieces to make the ceiling. There's basically 24 places where people can sit and pedal, and they generate electricity by pedaling, and then it can be hooked up. It has been hooked up to many different things over the last 4 years. It's been hooked up to a thing that was loading up people's mobile phones, and these days it's mainly used either for a soap bubble machine, which is a lot of fun, or for making shakes, making fruit shakes. He takes it different places and that people pedal. He just hooks it up. It's difficult not to pick up things when you have room to store it. So it's like you see all kind of things. An old door, some more styrofoam, an old washing machine, piping, different kinds of piping. I'm trying to keep a little bit of order, but it always ends up being a little more messy. Just pieces of wood, you know. People, they throw away the most amazing things. So my husband's not an artist. He says that he has a circus. Okay. I definitely do a lot of things thinking about the environment, but it's very important for me to always make things that are beautiful. I mean, it can have a negative message or a strong message or sad message, but it's still very important for me to work with something beautiful.
Tell me about your flowers out of glass.
We live kind of just at the edge of the desert. We have kind of colorful winters with green grass, with green leaves. But once we get into July, August, then everything turns yellow and it looks very dead. I mean, the plants are still alive, the trees are still alive, but the grass has gone to sleep. Most of everything that doesn't get water goes to sleep. So because I so much miss color in the middle of the summer and definitely into September, October, we have the first rains in like November, December. So because of that, I made these glass flowers simply to put a bit of color in my yard in all these months when we don't have anything. A bedroom for me and my husband, a little bathroom, and a kitchen, living room area. Now we're lucky that we can spend a lot of time on the deck, so we don't actually need so much space, and it's a very cheap space to heat up. We don't have any cooling possibility, which is a little problematic in the summer, but never mind. We chose this place because we really like the outdoors, and we spend a lot of time in the outdoors, and we have a lot of time on the deck, on the outdoors. We have most of our meals here, and we have the working space in the yard, which is, we call it a lul. It's an old chicken house, where we have, I have my studio and my husband has his office. So this is a storage room and all that. So this was our priorities. A small house, lots of outdoors. I have squash and aubergine and corn and cucumbers and tomatoes and watermelon and melon. Peppers and strong peppers and basil. A little bit of parsley from the winter. There was a time when I went to study medicine, and I actually studied for 3 years and suffered. I was doing very well, but I suffered tremendously. I left medicine, and my old neighbor, she was then 85, who had always, since I was a very small child, she had always been my friend. And she said to me, thank God you realized now. I thought it would be too late.
Wow.
And it was like, because my family was actually not so happy that I left, but she had seen it, and she had seen it was such a mistake. So this was totally giving me the power to say it was the right decision to leave medicine. Yeah, I went and studied pottery in Denmark. Denmark has a very strong tradition of any kind of craft. And then I married, and then I came here and went into art school. So that's the house is definitely kosher. So cool. Also, we have quite a lot of religious friends, and it would be very unpleasant if they couldn't eat in our house. It's fun to do art, but it's also great to do things that are useful. Like, it's such a difference. There's like the things that people look at, and there's the things that people they use.
To have come to a foreign country and to see a kindred spirit and a beautiful woman who has such vision in every way. I feel good drinking out of these glasses which she herself created.
Cheers. Cheers.